Hi, and welcome to the latest of the Top Dice programs. It's going to be a bit of a chat show today, and with us, we've got Chris as the co-anchor, and we've got Jay. Jay, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm a guest. Um, and basically, well, yeah, okay. I'm a role player, and I write role playing games and publish them. You may have played some of them, probably haven't. But if you haven't, check them out on Drive Through RPG.
Definitely. Well, what I'll do after Jay as well, I'll actually put a link down in the description of the drive-through page that covers your games, and they can have a look and sort of see there. But we will be coming back for a proper full-blown interview with you sometime soon. So it's been quite a week or so in the world role-playing world. We've unfortunately lost Jennell Jaquays, who was one of the early leaders, I think, of role-playing back in the 70s and right through to now, basically. And unfortunately, she passed away recently. She was quite an activist for transgender rights, and obviously the creator of many wondrous role-playing products such as Griffin Island, which I know you two, I think you've both heard. I think you've heard of Griffin Island, haven't you, as well, Christopher and Quest?
Yeah.
I've got many happy memories of playing that. I preferred that to the Isle of Dread, basically, which is the old expert module for D&D back in the day, and Griffin Island was always my favourite. And also Dark Tower, which was a huge sprawling Judges Guild adventure. Again, do you have any memories of Judges Guild at all, Jay?
No, I didn't start with D&D as my first game, so I missed out. I didn't actually really start playing until fifth edition. So I'm not a D&D person from the past. I started with RuneQuest second edition and Tunnels and Trolls. So.
Fantastic. Well,
yeah.
Well, you'll certainly know Griffin Island and seen the name attached of Jackos attached to several products from Chaosium. Quite an artist as well, and obviously the Quake 2 engine. She was involved in the design of that on the old PC and console. So again, quite a loss really to him. So hopefully she'll be able to get some games played up in the sky now and be enjoying those. She'll be there with Gary Gygax. So big cheers to her.
Cheers to her. Get the game, get the games going.
Definitely. Well, other news we've actually had. We've got Ben Riggs saying that the golden age of tabletop role-playing games is dead.
Well, sell all your stuff, sell all your games, guys. It's over.
Yeah, it's in fact, do you know what? Maybe we should just pack up now. Should we maybe end the broadcast and close the channel down? So opinions, obviously. You, Chris, do you want to go first? What's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I've got to say, who the hell is he? Never heard of him.
He's a historian. He's a D&D historian. But
to be fair, I could claim I was a D&D historian just by Googling the damn thing. Anyone can be a role-playing historian.
He wrote a book called Slaying the Dragon. There's a couple of things that he's written.
It's sensationalist nonsense to get people like us doing this. So in truth, it's worked.
Yeah.
Because we could have not done this. Good God, I never thought I'd say that. But for me, the golden age of D&D was, well, me personally, probably different for you, Age. It was about halfway through third edition. Because you had like this big build up for third because they changed, because it was all THACO to begin with, and then it was, rather than roll low, it was then roll high. And then you had this license so that third party people could produce things.
Big thing, yeah.
And about halfway through, you had all these like third-party people. Oh, hello, Keta. Hello, Keta. You had an awful lot of people producing an awful lot of decent things, and then it literally just avalanched into an absolute, well, it was just everything and nothing. It was awful.
But the cat clearly agrees with you there.
Yeah. She knows what she likes, and
And it wasn't that.
That was Kata, by the way. Sorry, she will interrupt now and again.
That's absolutely fine. It's Jay. What about yourself? Golden Age of role playing dead? Tabletops gone?
I think it depends upon whether you're talking about role playing or D&D.
Exactly.
I think the thing with it is, I think the 90s was a golden age for RPGs because an awful lot of games came out there that kind of set the tone. I mean, at the time, before, while D&D was kind of big, first, second edition AD&D, and then third edition D&D came out, they were kind of the kind of main game. Then in the 90s, I think a load of games came out, like Vampire, I can't remember, Talos
Cyberpunk, there you go. That was another big one.
All of this stuff all came out in the 90s, and that was a bit of a golden age. And I think it was that point when D&D was kind of waning a little bit because 3.5 had come out and a lot of people didn't like it. And then when they did 4th edition, I think that was another golden age for RPGs because we had a lot of new RPGs come out because they were taking the spot of 4th edition, which everybody hated. And I think Pathfinder came out during that time. A lot more fantasy games coming out. And I think, it probably, for D&D, 5th edition has been a bit of a golden age for them because obviously a lot more people are playing it than they ever have done before. And that's probably down to the internet. Because before you had to go into dedicated game shops to even see these things. Whereas now they're a lot more prevalent on internet, which means they're more prevalent on TV shows. I think the first time I saw D&D on a TV show was probably Big Bang Theory, where they played AD&D 2nd edition. And then obviously Stranger Things was a big one for 5th. But even then they weren't playing 5th, they were playing AD&D again.
Exactly.
So they weren't playing 5th edition, they were playing AD&D. And I think, that may have got people interested. But I think a lot of people got interested in D&D at that point probably didn't carry on playing it beyond that. A lot of people bought the starter box. Maybe a lot of people bought the core books. And then some of those people just dropped off. Some of them carried on because they enjoyed it. They had a group. With the internet coming around, a lot more people were online. So I think for D&D, I think this is an end of a golden age for D&D, I reckon, because I think with the OGL stuff that happened at the beginning of the year, with all the other problems that WotC have had over the last year, and they've had a lot of problems over the last year. They've done a lot of bad things, a lot of mistakes they've made.
Yeah.
Not only with AIR, getting people arrested for having Magic Gathering cards, all this sort of stuff has all damaged their reputation and damaged them as a company. And then all these layoffs in December before Christmas didn't make people. And I think for D&D, it is a bit of an end of a golden age for them.
Yeah.
And I think the new edition, if it's going mainly virtual and online, that's going to be another 4th edition for them. I think they're going to suffer from that.
Yeah.
Because judging from these VTT, you're going to have a very strong computer to play it. And if you haven't got the money to buy that computer, then you're going to be kind of a little bit screwed on how to play D&D, especially if Roll20 loses its license to continue hosting it or whatever. But I think the fall of D&D could be another golden age for RPG.
Yes.
Because where D&D is not there, other RPGs will come in and fill that gap. I think games like Tales of the Valiant, which is basically just D&D with a different name, and the WotC numbers filed off, and things like MCDM, which may be a bit more 4th edition and maybe a little bit of a flash in the pan. I don't know until we see it. I'm not too convinced with the combat system. I think it sounds a bit too computer gamey for me. Other people may feel differently because a lot more people play computer games now than ever before. And I don't know. I think people jump on things because they look good and they're shiny and new, and often they fall by the wayside. But we'll see. But I do think, possibly the golden age of D&D has come to an end. 6th edition or 5.5 whatever you want to call it, may revive that, but I doubt it. I think it's gonna have a problem, mainly because of the VTT and how powerful that is and how much computer energy you're going to need to play it. That's going to turn a lot of people off.
Also, the simple fact we like. Well, I'm for one. I love the books. That's
of course, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people do.
I'm old school. If it isn't a book, I struggle with PDFs. I really do. I do a lot of reading at work on screen, and when I get home, I want to actually read a book.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is going to affect them as well. And I wouldn't be surprised that in, I don't know, maybe 2027, 2028, we may see a 6th edition D&D, which will go back to, like with 4th edition, they'll get rid of the bits they don't like, go back, because 5th edition and 3.5 aren't a great deal of difference. There's a lot more difference between 5th edition and 4th than there is between 5th edition and 3rd. And I think that's how it will be. They'll do 6th or 5.5, it will not do as well, and they'll revert back to how it was. Because the other problem is, at the end of the day, it's on the internet, and the internet's not infallible, it's not bulletproof. You know what I mean? If all you have to have is a solar flare and the internet's gone, what are people going to do then?
That's it. They'll have your books there, Jay. That's what they'll actually do. They'll be taking those.
Exactly. But anyway, that's what I think. Sorry, rambling on about that, but I have thought about it a lot, and obviously as part of this, as a publisher myself, it does kind of, statements like do affect me.
Yeah.
Not affect me in any real terms, but it makes me think about stuff. But I do think that when D&D drops, other RPGs rise. So I think, a golden age for D&D is on the fall. I think the golden age for role-playing games is on the rise.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And I think it will give the indies more of an opening, actually, sort of there. There will be a new Pathfinder, in inverted commas, that'll come to the fore. Now, whether it might even be Pathfinder itself that does a resurgence, I'm not too convinced. I've had a look at the 2nd edition. Admittedly, it's been out for a while now, but I'm not completely taken with that as it should be. No. Tales of the Valiant, the cost, that's a big one for me. Have you seen the price of it? And to be quite blunt, I would expect a cheaper book, as in price wise. It looks thick, it looks glamorous, but really, I think the price. I thought about backing it, and I've pulled back from that simply because of the costs. So,
and the postage alone was almost the same.
Yeah, $15 to $20, wasn't it? Something, but even so, that adds up. And there are so many good games out there. Like you're right, a lot of them sort of have the glam and glitz. The Candle Obscura, that looks absolutely brilliant, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if you've seen that, Chris, or I think you have, haven't you, Jay? So
the new game from Critical Role, yeah. Well, that's just Cthulhu with the numbers filed off. It's not even an original system. That's based off Blades in the Dark, which is based on whatever it is. That's not remotely original.
I'm going to give it a go. I've got it sat there. I'm going to give it a go.
Good, but it's not.
I'm not convinced by it, but I'm going to. One of my sort of resolutions this year is to give games a chance, rather than me sort of looking at them going, nah. I will. If I think there's anything in there remotely, I will give them a shot.
That is exactly what I decided to do with Slay Industries 2nd edition. And as we know, I love 1st edition.
Yeah.
But I've bought just about everything for 2nd edition, and I'm going to run it. And I don't see why I shouldn't enjoy it.
That's a very dangerous threat. That's.
I know. So, watch this space.
Yes.
I'm using words and hats.
Yeah. What games have you got lined up, Jay, that either you're going to be sort of running, or have you probably got the design on of you at the moment to yourself of things you're going to be doing? What's on the horizon for you on that side this year?
Well, at the moment, I'm running a Fallout. It's the Modifius game.
How's that going for you?
It's all right. I mean, I love Fallout. I played other games and stuff, and so I know a lot about Fallout because I've played them all at least 6 times. So, so yeah, that's going all right. I mean, I'm using this as my let me see that. I'm using the Fallout 3 strategy guide as my my
The way
module,
go.
my scenario.
That's the way to do it.
So, all the maps.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah. That is an incredible idea.
Yeah. Well, that's the one that I'm waiting for.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've never played the actual computer game ever, but I've read the books, the novel series, and I absolutely love them. And that actually has got a first time I looked at it, it was like, nah. And then I actually understood what it was actually about. And it's using a couple of ideas in there I've never seen in a role-playing game before. Whether it'll be any good when the final product comes out, I don't know, but I'm certainly going to give it a good look at that one. That's one of my main ones for this year. So end of the year-ish that. Oh, and we've got, of course, the Disney role-playing game coming out, guys, haven't we?
Yeah, I think I'll be giving that one a miss.
What, you're not going to give it a go?
No, I don't think so. You might have an interesting system, though. It'd be interesting to see what that's like. But...
It's you can only be one of 4 characters, I think, if I remember rightly. It's Ravensburger that's actually doing that one. Chronicles of Light, Darkness Falls, and I think you can play Moana, Maid Marian, and another couple of other characters.
Well, so surely you could be either an alien or Ripley.
No, this is pure Disney princess, full blown in your face.
Ripley's a Disney princess.
It's interpretation. Certainly not a Maid Marian or a Moana. And I don't think many 8-year-olds, which I think the game is actually aimed at 8 to 15-year-olds or something like that. I don't think many would have actually have watched it. I will actually be quite interested to see this just for the mechanics behind it.
Yeah, seriousness, yes. Worth a look just for that.
I'm not going to be sort of sold on it completely, but I'm sure there's going to be something there. Ravensburger normally sort of do something quite interesting with the games.
Yeah, they do amazing board. I've got to say, I know we talk about role-playing games, but they do amazing board games.
Well, there's Lorcana as well, which the first lot is a very basic trading card game, but they're building up on it now with new little sort of nuances, and it's going from a very basic game to what will be looking like quite a strategic tabletop game. We'll wait and see anyway. That's the future, but obviously Chronicles of Light, Darkness Falls, it's interesting name as well for a Disney role-playing game. And why has there never been a Disney role-playing game before?
Maybe they didn't think it was worthwhile, and now with this sort of like dare I say it, this may be controversial, the end of the golden age of role-playing, they can take the risk.
Yeah, they can do. We've seen quite a few kids games. There's the My Little Pony game, and there's also there's the Monty Cook one as well. Is it Speak No Evil, whatever it is, or Go Away Evil, or whatever that one actually is. That's again is a kid's version of the Cipher system, I believe. So they're looking at getting younger players into it, which is interesting enough.
We do need younger players to sort of carry it on. You know.
Well, how old were you, Chris, when you started?
I was 1992. No, 1992. I would have been 15.
15. Jay, 15. How old were you?
I think I was around 13.
Yeah, I was 10, so I was a bit of an early starter. But yeah, I was 10. when I first sort of looked at the dice, and it was the shape of the dice that I'd never seen a 20-sided dice before, and that was the that was the deciding factor for me.
Well, for me, it was not the 20-sided dice; it was percentile dice. Because my first ever role playing experience was called Cthulhu. I was completely blown away with it. I knew what D6s were. I knew what sort of war games were because my dad came home one day from, I think he was working in Liverpool, and he bought one of the first copies of the 40k Road Trader. When
Yeah.
it got rid
We sold loads of that back in the day at Preston Games.
Drop that in my lap, and my life changed forever.
Yeah, amazing cover, absolutely amazing. You can still get it, I believe, as well from Warhammer World, whatever they call it. It's Wally World or whatever they decide to name it these days. It's but that is one game that I would pick up again. Just the art when I first saw that book, just like wow, never seen anything like it before in my life. They certainly did a real number on that.
The role playing possibilities for it.
Well, that's what it was going to be, wasn't it? In part,
are still usable. You can still sort of essentially role play with miniatures.
Yeah. I've not role played enough with miniatures, I suppose. So that's something else that's going to be changing. That's another one on the list to sort of do more miniatures on the table, make it more visual. So something else there. And of course,
I'm also planning on role playing with less cats.
Less cats. Yeah. Okay, that'll be interesting. Well, round at my place, I don't think the cats would stand a chance with the dogs, but we'll.
Sorry, it's just
cutie.
Likes to show off, I think. I don't know. Sorry.
That's it. That's what it's all about. And of course, we got the new definitive edition of Ars Magica coming, which again is quite an interesting and bold move too. I don't know.
It's a game I've always wanted to get, but I've always been intimidated by it because of its sort of vast back catalogue. I've never really known where to start and what you need. So I think this would be a good place for people to sort of.
It's true. I played it. Yeah, I played it quite a few times, and it's good. It's true play.
I played it. It's very good.
Yeah, you'll create a wizard, and you'll also create a couple of henchmen as well. And for every adventure, you decide basically who's going to be going on said adventure, and the henchmen are just as useful in many cases as the actual wizards or mages. Quite historical in the background, and it I suppose almost chivalry and sorcery like in many ways. That's the other aspect actually of it. Have you ever have you touched on it, Jay?
I played Ars Magica once.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, actually. It would have been, well, I can't remember how long ago. It was a long time ago.
It used to,
I can't remember much about it.
Yeah, used to be at the at Gen Con, UK Gen Con. They used to have a big sort of following, and they've got their own. I don't know whether you call it a moot or whatever going on down the south of England. Every year there's a 2 or 3 days set aside where all the Ars Magica fans do get together. I've not seen it advertised recently, but I believe it's still going. Is that quite a
interesting
big
to pick
thing?
up? I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, I think again it'd be very interesting to see the rules and also the fact that they're looking at making it open so you can actually add and do your own things with it and get it out there as well.
I mean, it'll depend upon whether I spend all my money on a Disney RPG or not. But if I've got enough money left over after that, then I'll probably pick up Ars Magica.
You'll have to buy all the figures you see for the Disney RPG.
Yeah.
So there's that to be sort of thinking of. Yeah, so here's an idea, guys. A thought. Disney RPG. What system would you actually use? I'm going to put you on the spot here, Chris. Disney RPG. For God's sake, don't say Rogue Trader.
Weirdly, I've got the book line next to me. I'd use this.
Disney RPG. Oh, right.
One dice. Yeah, actually, that would work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd use that.
It could easily do it.
It's weird. I've literally had that sat next to me.
Yeah, well, we've used that for what? Judge Dredd, Ghostbusters. I've used it for James Bond. Paranoia. Yeah, I mean, I even used it for Paranoia. So it does it all that.
Literally anything you want.
It's quite simple, quite fast.
And you know what? I would recommend it for anyone. It's that's the revised version. I actually bought that. I bought a second copy. I don't know where my other one is. I've lost it, or it's.
Well, I need to get some more copies of Hauntaway because I've actually given my copies away to people at work because they said I want to try role playing out, and I've actually given my last copies. I haven't got a copy of it to mind you. It's all up here anyway. I know exactly what's in there.
Say, yeah.
Jay, go on. Disney RPG. What system would you use? You've got the license. Disney has got on the phone to you and said, Jay, we love what you do, mate. Do us a game. What's it going to be? What are you going to do with it?
I think if I was going to make it, then I reckon, and I had to stick with a Disney thing and for kids and stuff, I'll even make it a D6 system, because then if kids throw the dice around, you can always find more D6s.
Yeah.
D20s tend to roll. And I think either that or make it a card-based game.
That would be the other option. Yeah. And again, Disney would love you for that, because obviously that's a huge opening for them to sell more cards.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we call it Disney the Gathering.
You even have a separate. I use the cards as a separate card game for when you're traveling and stuff. So
yeah,
you have it all over the place. With cards, you kind of open up lots of different options.
And what 3 Disney films would you actually sort of choose to be the entry level for your basic game? Again, I'll come to you first, Jay. You've got a minute to think there, Chris.
When you say Disney, does that include Touchstone Pictures as well?
No, this is we're going full blown cartoons here.
Or I don't know. I don't watch Disney. The only ones I've watched, I can mention those. What have I watched? And are we talking original Disney, or are we talking modern Disney?
I'll let you sort of talk. Whatever Disney you actually sort of want, you've got it there on the table. Walt himself has sort of coming from the spirit world, signed the document over to you and said, "Go get them, boys. There you go. It's all yours." Okay, 3 movies. What 3 movies are you licensing from?
Let's go original then. Let's go original. I would say Jungle Book. Jungle Book. I don't know, to be honest. I never watched the Disney film.
We'll do Jungle Book the RPG. That's the.
That would be quite interesting, because you could be different animals in that one.
Yeah. So that would actually that actually would work quite nicely with that. Now my 3 would be 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood, and the Black Cauldron.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's I've deliberately left out the black hole there because it's not a cartoon. But Chris, you've got.
Mine would be Snow White.
Gothic fantasy, yeah, that's a bit of grim, a sort of yeah.
The twist with Snow White would be the introductory adventure on and it would teach you how to play the game. It would be a solo adventure.
You've thought this through way too much. We gave him too long.
Yeah. The second one would be Lilo and Stitch. And the third would be Rasputin. Not Rasputin, Anastasia.
Good choice. That's quite a variety. Yeah.
I watched it in work recently because, as you do.
Well, we'll approach Disney, see if they'll give us the license, because the three of us together, we could write some amazing stuff, couldn't we? Flipping
Or
heck,
they'd run screaming, and we'd have restraining orders put against us, and we'd never be allowed near it ever again.
I don't know. We could get our own sort of Disney theme park ride. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That's
The question would be more likely, not whether we could, but whether we want to. Really.
Yeah.
That would be my. That would be my. Would I want to now? No.
Oh boy. Oh well, it's we'll begin to wrap things up in a second. We've just been talking for ages here. So, Games Master tips. Going to go around the table. Games Master tip. Chris, give us a Games Master tip. So, what's the one tip you'd actually sort of give to someone if they said, what should I do to become a Games Master? What do I need? What do I need to do?
What do you need to do? Weird one. Don't necessarily it's kind of a two-parter. Read the rules, but don't necessarily follow them. Adapt to the situation you find yourself in as directed by the players.
Okay, that's all right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, Jay, what would you sort of say?
I would say, again, another two-part. I would say the first thing I would say would be get used to thinking on your feet. And the other thing I would say is don't ever think of your players as your enemy.
Yep, that's. I think mine would be whatever you decide you're going to do will not happen within 5 minutes of you starting the game, as in you'll go off in a completely different tangent. So just be ready to adapt again. So adapt and have fun. That would be mine. As a player, any player tips? Jay, start with you this time. As a player, or as a games master, what would you like to see the players do round the table, as in prep or whatever? What's the buy-in for you?
I think the main thing for me would be for players to role play rather than role play, right? So in the case of, I get much more immersed into a game if all the players are saying, I'm going to, rather than my character is going to.
Yeah.
Right? And describe what you're going to do. Think of it as an action movie. You can do anything you like, try it out, give it a go. If a dragon's coming towards you, jump on the dragon, ride the dragon. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do, don't just roll the dice and see what happens.
See what goes.
Express it. Yeah.
It's. I think one of the rules in Feng Shui had it right, as in be original. Don't sort of say I hit the thing or I shoot the thing. How are you going to hit them? How are you going to shoot them?
Shoots the thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's. And if you start being boring, then we start taking dice out your dice pool, which I thought was, and give negatives, which was quite fun. So yeah, Chris.
As a player, don't be afraid to get involved with telling the story and moving the story on in a sort of in a strange and interesting direction that the games master may not have seen, because we're all telling a story together.
Yeah, that's a good one, and actually that fits in what we used to do. I've role played quite a few times with Chris over the years, and we tried to make each other's life an absolute misery with a Savage Worlds game, a Pirates game.
Yes.
And we would leave it at such mad cliffhanger each time, and the other person had to sort of pick it up and run with it. And it just worked so well, did that.
You couldn't plan. Yeah, you couldn't plan at all what regardless of the fact that it was using the pirate setting, you couldn't plan, because we didn't know whether sort of like zombies would turn up, or there'd be like
Well, that was a shocker, wasn't it? When I threw zombies at you, wasn't it? There you go. You weren't
I
expecting.
And I was going to, but you stole me. you stole me thunder. I was like, damn, I was going to do that first. But that's the joy of co or group GMing. Your players are just like, well, and if they're role playing, they're running it as well. It's like, oh, what the hell's come next? But yeah, I wouldn't recommend that for new GMs. It's very scary.
Yeah, definitely not. That's for sure. Any final words, Chris, from you?
Just as cliched as it is, keep playing those games because, as we all know, the golden age of role playing is over.
Yeah.
So before you burn all your books, boys and girls, play them one last time.
Good advice, Jay. Advice for you. That's last words of wisdom from yourself.
I'm so sorry. I was all serious then.
I don't have any words of wisdom, but I will continue on with what Chris said and say, before burning all your books, play them one last time and probably buy some more to play them.
In fact, buy more of our games.
Buy more.
Buy them all.
Yeah, and send your old ones to me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I think go out there and experience some different things. If you only ever played 5th edition, try something new.
Definitely.
Don't be scared to try a new game out.
Yeah,
I know sometimes the rule books can be a little bit scary because they're 400, 500, 600 pages long, but give it a chance, give it a go, see how you like it. You never know, you might pick the next best thing.
And you've always going to have our Agony Uncle column that you could always use, where you can just fire things off to us and say, hey, Ade, Jay, Chris, Pete, whoever, I'm in agony. Please help me. What do I do about this? And I'm sure we'll come up with some interesting responses for you. So there we go. There's something for the future as well. Right. I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a good night from me, and it's a good night from Chris. I'm sure it's a good night from Jay too. Thanks very much.
It's also a good night from Kata as well.
Even better. Good night, and thank you. Bye-bye.